Inyaniso lokuba sihlangana ukuze emhlabeni kusekuhleni uba thina singangaphumi nanto. NguYehova ebenika, nguYehova othabathileyo. Igama likaYehova malidunyiswe. Cela mama sicula iculo 244. Unabantu bakho Thixo ngamaxesha onke. Ubagcina ubanceda endaweni zonke. Ivesi yokugqibela ithi bakhangela kuwe Nkosi abo bantu bakho. Babulela bakuthemba abo bantu bakho. Ngicela sifunde sicula istenza sokuqala nestenza sokugqibela.
Masithandaze uyingcwele Yehova Thixo wemikhosi izulu lizele bubuqaqawuli bakho makabongwe ke lo uzayo egameni lenkosi sihlangene apha Nkosi kule ndlu yokunikezela komzimba kaMinty kuba mawutshiswe sikwinkonzo yokugqibela kwakhe saphila emhlabeni simema ke Thixo wena ube khona kule nkonzo iphathwe nguwe sicela amandla oyingcwele Nkosi ilungileyo alawule ingqondo nenhliziyo zethu ukuze ekudandathekweni kwethu Nkosi ilungileyo kodwa sikwazi wena uba nguThixo onke amathuba njengoba indumiso Thixo isithi zolani nazo ukuba ndinguThixo nangelithuba nangelixesha Nkosi ilungileyo lodandatheko uThixo ukhona uyalawula kuba ibe nguye ekuqaleni ikwanguye nasekugqibeleni siyacela siyakuthandaza ke Thixo okokuba uncede umfundisi ozawusibekela ilizwi ukuze ngalo sibe nakho Nkosi lonkomelela kwaKristu inkosi yethu amen.
Kunjalo seqalekeni kunjalo kunje uya umana jalo uteku Elehlani phansi sifumane isifundo sethu. Isifundo sethu sasifumana kwincwadi yomprofeti Isaiah chapter 6. We will only read verses 1. The book of the prophet Isaiah chapter 6. We will only read verses 1. Ithi ititle yakhona Isaiah is being commissioned. In the year that King Hosea died, I saw the Lord seated high on his throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Nkosi sikelela ukufunda kwelizwi layo. Ngothi benginaphakade. Amen. Ndizawucela singeneni kwinkonzo yesithethi. We started a bit later. Ndizawucela uba singeneni kwinkonzo yesithethi. And I will ask that each person who is about to speak today, umntu unikwa 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, bazali bam zawuphakama because we are not supposed to be here for long. So ndizawucela umama uThandeka Duku ozosifundela obhuthwari yakatata uKhosi. Ndicela umama uyinto amphakamise ngeculo.
Program Director, abafundisi abakhoyo bemvaba ngemvaba, izihlobo zegazi nezihlobo zezinyo, ifamily yondlovu neyamachawe, mandibulise ngegama elihle lomfeli nelomvukelo wami uYesu Kristu Inkosi yethu. Amen. Ndiza kwenza amagqabantshintshi ngobomi bukabhuti wami uSkobi Minty Cossie. uSkobi Minty Cossie wazalwa nge-13th ka-October ngo-1949. Uzalwa nguDavid Khalashia noMariah Cossie uMankomo, intombi yakwaThethe, ezalelwa eCathcart. Bazalwa bengabantwana abayi-11, ungowokuqala eliwele nentombi. Amabanga aphantsi uwenze eUnited, waya eNewell High School, wayekugqibezela eSt John's College eMthatha. He was the first black land surveyor who qualified from University of Fort Hare. Waye wazimanya ngeqhina lomtshato nenkosazana, intombi yakwaBenz Ncamashe, uMamtshawe uChuma. Balizwa ngamadodana amabini, uQhama noMalibuye. uNdlovu ushiya ngasemva inkosikazi yakhe, onyana bakhe, uQhama, uBhongo kunye noMalibuye, omolokazana bakhe abathathu, umama wakhe, obrother bakhe ababini, nosista bakhe abathathu, abazukulwana kunye nenhlaninge yabatshana. SingoNdlovu namatshawe sithi phumla ngoxolo Ndlovu. Umda ubusikelwe ezantsi emhlabeni uwuqinile. Enkosi.
Sizawungena ngoku kwizithethi zefamily. Mangibulise uNtsumpa weBuffalo City Central Mission, umfundisi umdingo khoyo apha ukuzoxhasa le family. Ndiyabulisa Jolo omkhulu. Sizawungena ngoku kwizithethi zefamily. Ndicele kusondele isithethi sokuqala uMama Cossie asondele. Then I was told that utata uVusmuzi ubani uPikoli will listen to a voice note. There's a note that he have sent. If that's still how it stands, we will listen to a note. Ngizawucela iprepare njengoba umama uKhosi ezawuthetha. Then ndicela emveni katata uPikoli kuze uBhutmo utata uMonde. Then ndicela kuzuba uNdlovu emagqibeleni. So those are the 4 speakers according to the program that I have, will speak on behalf of the family. Then esokugqibela kuba inkosi kumkani uba uChawe. So ndizawucela mama usonde. Ndizawucela abazali bam, let us not use this space. I believe this chapel is audible for us to kuthi wonke umuntu angaviwa, because yanqena makusuka lo kungena nomakusuka lo kungena. So ndizawucela umuntu ozothetha ame phaya. I believe ukuthi njengoba sibambalwa umuntu nobokude nawe uyakwazi ukuthi makeve umuntu othethayo. Ngibulele mama.
Kwakuphela ubomi, kwakufika ukufa, ndivelele msindisi ngothando, shenxisa uloyiko, ndise ezulwini ndiphunyuzwe. Emva kwemini nje ndibulela ufumana elithuba loba ndime phezu kwewele lam. Ndikhulile naye kwelaa khaya, kodwa ke ixesha elinintsi bensingahlali kunye, ebethanda uthathwa ngootata omncinci bakhe. Kodwa ke sakhula sade saba badala. uSkobi uzibonakalisile emveni koba sishiywe ngutata wethu ngo-1993. Wayithatha indawo katata, asizivala khange sizive into obutata sisenayo. Izinto asenzele zona zingaphezu kwezinto ebeziya kwenza umtata wethu. Nge-19 ka-October lo nyaka phele 2019 besicelebrate i-70th birthday yethu. Bekumandi, khange ndiyazi into yokuba sonwabo kokugqibela noMinty. uThixo ndiyambulela ngaye, andifuni undilibazisa bethu. Ndiyambulela uThixo ngaye, ndibulela nento yoba wasithathela uMamtshawe, khange asithathele umntu uzaba kude kuthi, usithathele umntu okwaziyo ukuncedisana naye esenza izinto zekhaya. Oh Nkosi yam, mna bendiyazi into yoba nge-13th ka-October iyawukhala ifowuni isithi uzuhamba bheka ebhenki ikhona into endikufakeleyo. Bekumele ubana namhlanje iyakhala ifowuni ithi uziyothatha into ebhenki. Ngubani na uyawuphinda ndenze lezo? Kodwa kuThixo uthatha umntu abeke umntu. Ndifuna uthi kuwe Ndlovu, hamba uyokuphumla. Ugqatso obulibaleka emhlabeni ulibalekile, walibaleka ngemilenze engenamikhinga. Nabantu balapha ekuhlaleni, nabantu abazizihlobo zakho, siyavuya into yoba bayakungqina into yoba ubuyintoni naphakathi kwabo. Hamba Ndlovu uyokuphumla, siyakukhulula, ndikukhulula ndiliwele lakho. Ndisithi hamba, wawuthenga laa mini kwakukunepati, umntu oyawuqala ahambe ndim, kuba wena uthathe eli cala lakulo mama. Kuba kulo mama kuyahlaliwa ke, bayaphila ke abantu baphaya isidala. Kodwa kuThixo ukubonisile into yoba yonke into igqitywa nguye. Hamba mntakwethu, iCOVID siyayiqalekisa inkosi.
Ndicele isithethi sesibini sisondele.
Mandibulise umfundisi osiphethele icawa, ifamily, abanye abafundisi abakhoyo, and everyone who's come to mourn ubomi bukaMalume. Igama lam ndingu-Ichumile Qada, and my role is to read messages that have come through from professional societies zikaMalume no Auntie, from family as well as from friends zikaMalume. So ngicela unike a bit of latitude mfundisi because ziliqelana. The first one comes from Nondwe Monyake, and it reads as follows. It is very sad to learn of the passing of Mr. Minty Cossie, the first black professional land surveyor in South Africa. Research informs us that the education of surveyors in South Africa dates back to 1878, and ironically, only a century later did the first black professional land surveyors emerge from the University of Fort Hare in 1978. Mr. Minty Cossie and Mr. Vulindlela Vuli Cuba. The Register of the South African Geomatics Council documents that the first professional to register with the then Central Council, which was established in accordance with the Land Surveyors Registration Act of 1950, was on September 1st in 1950. 30 years later, Mr. Minty Cossie, who had graduated in 1978, became the first black professional to register with the council in 1980. At the time of his untimely passing, due to COVID-19 related illness, he was an alternate member of the SAGC. He will be remembered by the profession as someone who went out of his way to help students and offer them experiential training, especially those who had no one to turn to. He was indeed a giant, silent and not looking for praise, of the profession, for whom many are standing tall because he held them on his shoulders. May your soul rest in eternal peace, big brother. The second message comes from Mr. Advocate T.M. Nzaluba on behalf of the Bisho Society of Advocates. On behalf of our society, I join the multitudes of people located both within and outside the borders of our beloved motherland who share with you and your family the pain, grief, sorrow, and loss so cruelly dumped upon your family, friends, and relatives by the untimely passing of your dear husband, Mr. Skobi Minty Cossie Undlovu, and a friend of our society, and we extend our deepest condolences to you all. Ukufa liqhumbululu leqeleku ngokwenene. We wish all of you at this time and into the future enough strength to bear the heavy load of his passing that his passing so irreversibly entails to you. Personally, I have known Undlovu from the late 1970s when he was an unwelcome intruder into a small and close-knit group of law students who considered themselves not only as a family, but also as a special elite of wannabe lawyers of the University of Fort Hare. This was when Loputi, as some of us disapprovingly and grudgingly called him, disturbed our peace by dating one of us and thereby leading her astray. That was you then, fellow classmate. Little did we know then that he would later years be a revered friend of our bar, frequently gracing our functions with his dignified presence and sometimes hosting such rowdy functions in his home, tolerating all of the gossip and the boisterous discourse such gatherings tend to generate. I was later to learn that he was, after all, my cousin, quickly reduced to a nephew, and then even much later, he became umkhozi wam endimxabisileyo, and with whom I would discuss all manner of family issues, even sprinkled with some gossip about our children. Death has robbed us of, as the bar, and me in my own stead, of a worthy, well-loved, and respected friend, cousin, nephew, and umkhozi. He was still looking forward to spending more quality time with you, his children, and his grandchildren, his mother, umankomo, udadwethu, and all the other members of his family, friends, staff, colleagues, and to continue making his sterling contribution to the development of our country and her people in all his quiet, affable, and unassuming manner. Dudwini, makaphumle ngoxolo uNdlovu. The next message comes from Monde Mayekiso, and apologies for not using titles. I first got to know Minty in the late 1960s as a cricket player of rival high schools, St. John's College and Glakbar. Our friendship continued when we were both at Fort Hare, where we courted our wives at about the same time. We interacted as players of tennis and cricket and as sports officials at the highest level of campus. We worked through our trials and tribulations as young married couples, and we have kept in contact throughout. For me, and no doubt for many other people, Sbali, as we called each other, displayed a great sense of adventure, whether taking fellow university students on a tour in KZN or entering the cauldron that is the fishing industry. He valued relatives and friends so that you could count on him attending our events, whether it was a funeral deep in the Bundu Elusigisigi or entertaining guests with his wit at my 60th birthday in Cape Town. At such events, he was not shy to take a leadership role. He was very loving of his family and friends. I liked Minty best when he chuckled and admitted to a mistake. Sbali will be missed by many. Hamba kakuhle Ndlovu. The next message comes from Mrs. Stumi Cossie. Butiwam, the time we spent together will remain forever in my heart. Whenever I needed an ear to listen, you were always there. When I needed advice, you gave it selflessly. You made me feel special and made all challenges surmountable. There was no obstacle too great with you by our side. To me, you always will be the epitome of a big brother, and your generosity of spirit will stay with me always. Thank you, Mam Chawe, for sharing your husband with us and letting him be the best uncle to my daughters. May you, Kama, Malibuye, your beautiful daughters-in-law, Nabazukulwana, find peace and solace in the Lord during this trying time, knowing that Skobi lived a full life and touched us all. Gone, but never to be forgotten. Farewell, Zidlekhaya. The next message comes from Mr. Mzwandile Mancu. And I think for this one, you'll have to pay attention. 2 lessons from a teacher. The first is a lesson in geography. The second is a lesson in mathematics. So let's begin with the first. Trade winds. Trade winds are winds that blow reliably from east to west, just north and south of the equator. They blow regularly and at a constant speed. They are warm, and they are associated with constant depression and cyclones. They help ships to travel west, and they can also steer storms and hurricanes. And this man was my trade wind. At a difficult time, a day or two after we had received the news of the passing of my son, I remember you, Skobi, walked into my room and said to me, "When are you going to Cape Town?" "To do what, Minty?" "Because I have spoken to Sivuyile Ngoma. He is arranging for the body to be brought to the Eastern Cape." "No," you said. "I've booked 2 tickets for you and me to Cape Town tomorrow to see Bongani there, where it all happened." "This is the only way you will get closure on this," you insisted. And off we went to Cape Town. We got to Cape Town, took the car you had hired, and we went to Kama's house. Kama had prepared dinner for us. We sat and had dinner, the 3 of us. I asked for a shot of whiskey, and it quickly became 2 of them. You said no, you did not feel like one. The following morning we went to the morgue. We saw Bongani, and we both spoke to him. I got my closure, as you had promised. I was able to laugh at your silly jokes on our flight back. Tuma, in the same vein, from the fact that I stand here to witness your loss, I beg you to get your own closure, as your husband did to me. These are the things that you sent me in order for me to get through lockdown. The music of staple singers, Jean Ammons, that wonderful rendition of Victor Ndoni's celebration of the life of Ora Tambo, Miriam Makeba singing Kwano Ngqongqo with a group of African Americans. And I said to you, now whence this musical ear suddenly, Ulili Lonche? And oh, Minty, the numerous warnings you sent me about COVID. The last one of them, which came from Dr. Biana, about new symptoms. This was on the 10th of December. The letter was saying that the new symptoms are intestinal infection, the lungs, and it presents with diarrhea and vomiting and severe headaches. Why did you send me this one? Once upon a time, there were 3 old friends. They were all scholars and leading busy lives, but they all made it a point to meet once a year to make sure they would always stay in touch with one another. But this one time, the gathering felt different. They were all getting old and started to feel their age. Sensing this, the first scholar remarked, "We are all here together this year, enjoying each other's company. But who can say with certainty if we will all be able to come back and be together again next year?" The second scholar laughed. "Next year? I think you may be looking too far ahead and assuming too much. Today, I am alive, but who can say with certainty if tomorrow I will open my eyes to greet another day?" They turned to the third scholar who had been quiet. He looked up at them thoughtfully and said, "Tomorrow, my friends, as I sit here with you, I do not know if each breath I draw will be my last. Who can say with certainty that one breath will be followed by another?" The second lesson. The Star of David representing King David's shield. The Star of David is a hexagram. It comprises 2 overlaid equilateral triangles, one facing down, the other facing up. The 2 triangles form a 6-point star. Universally adopted by Jews in the 19th century, it is a striking and simple emblem of Judaism in imitation of the cross of Christianity. The Jews then invested the Star of David with a symbolism indicating martyrdom, heroism, na'alike ikoch. First, the Jewish mythical beliefs in the Star of David are 3 knots connecting 3 entities, the Holy One, Torah, and Israel. The Jewish soul connects to its creator through the study and observance of Torah, and the triangle represents the connection between the 3 entities, which are again the Holy One, Torah, and Israel. The school of Jewish thought teaches that God created the world with 7 spiritual building blocks, God's 7 emotional attributes. See if you cannot find Minty in each one of these qualities that come from the Star of David. They are kindness, ubulungisa, severity, which is also intensity, gravitas, austerity. 3, harmony, which creates inner peace. 4, perseverance, persistence or ukunyamezela. 5, splendor, great brightness, magnificence, and grandeur. 6, foundation, basis, tenet, principle on which something stands. And the final one, the 7th one, royalty, which is also majesty. And this one, of course, could have been gotten through your assimilation with the princess. The entire creation is a reflection of these 7 foundational attributes. And there, without a doubt, I place my friend, Minty. Minty, I spoke to you on Sunday, 13th December, and you told me of the cold in your back and the searing headache, and that you were seeing the doctor the following day, which was the Monday. You went there, but the cold persisted. Kama advised you to have a second test done, and you were going to do it on Tuesday and let me know the results. You did not come back to me, yet you had promised that by Wednesday afternoon you would have received the results. I called on Thursday, no pickup. Friday, no pickup. So I said to Noktawa, you know what? Minty said to me that if he does not feel better, he is simply going to get into his car and drive to Cape Town. He feels that in the Eastern Cape, the Eastern Cape is not adequately equipped for this virus. What a premonition. So when you did not pick up, I was sure you were in Cape Town. Woe betide, you were in East London at St. Dominic's. Kama nomali buye, nabafazi benu, nigcine umama, indlezana le. I know this from the way I saw her esonga her own mother apha kokwenu. She in turn deserves the same ukongiwa from you guys. It's now her turn. Nigcine uchaba. Like all of us men, akakho umntu ebethandwa nguMinty njengomama wakhe. Nice people are hard to come by. Rest in peace, Ndlovu. You deserve your well-earned repose. The second last one, from Sibu Mihlali and Ichumile Qada. Imela igobela esandleni. What does a child say when they are foundation of wisdom, an ever-present helping hand in times of need, an anchor, a support system, and God's gift perishes? What do we do when courage disappears because ithemba lethu liwile? English has limited vocabulary to express the depth of our sorrow and the anguish that engulfs us. We have no more tears to cry. Since your passing, our hearts sit at the belly of our bosoms, beating just to keep us sane and alive. Somehow, we will try to move forward, holding on to your teachers and our memories of you. Enkosi malume, lume is Ndlovu. Zidle kaya ngokuswela umalusi. Zidla, zidle, zigoduke, until we meet again. And the last one. This is a message from Vusi Pikoli on behalf of Mrs. Cossie's cousins. Greetings to the program director, the clergy, the dignitaries, and all those who have come to comfort us with words of wisdom and your presence. Special greetings to you, my dear sister Chuma, my nephews Kama and Malibuye, my nieces Nokuzola, Notsapokazi. Warm greetings to you, Mamu Cossie, the twin sister, Kasbali, Ucharibe, Uduzana, Mandlovandile, Tandeka, and Dombekaya, and the entire Cossie family, Ondlovu Bephelele. My name is Vusumzi Pikoli. I've been asked by the family to represent all cousins zikachuma who advocate Cossie. Umam Chow, indombi ezalwa nguSipho, Mangindi, Burns, Ncamashi. Zilimbola. Noxoliswa Sipoyo, umam uMandungwana. I therefore represent the Koliti, Pikoli, Sipoyo, and Zotyana families. There are times when words are insufficient to express your inner feelings, that which you cannot touch, but you feel. When words simply face you, this is such a moment. I am still to recover from the shock. The loss is devastating. It leaves one with a sense of emptiness and hopelessness. It is only a few days ago when I was talking to you and joking with you, Sbali, who was wishing me a speedy recovery from COVID-19. And here I am today, speaking at your funeral, which I cannot even physically attend. Can life be any more cruel? It was only October 2019 when we were celebrating your 70th birthday. No one would have predicted this moment. I've known Usbali even before he married my sister Uchuma. He was a dedicated and highly talented sportsman with a particular passion for tennis and cricket, and he used to excel at both. He was a perfect gentleman with a sly, if not naughty, smile. He also excelled academically and was the first person to graduate at the University of Forte in land surveying, a practice he opened and continued with until his last days. He enjoyed the respect of his peers in his chosen area of expertise. He was a role model and inspiration to many, including me. He was a devout Christian. Usbali was a family man. He not only loved his immediate family, he genuinely embraced my sister, Chuma's family, including all of our families. Usbali was there for all of us when we were celebrating, when we were in mourning. He attended all of our parents' and siblings' funerals, whether in Port Elizabeth or in Cape Town, and his presence would be felt because of how he would always commit himself on all of these occasions. He was by far the best Sbali we ever had, and we will sorely miss him. Nokuzola and Tsapokazi, Usbari loved you. To him, you were not daughters-in-law, you were and are his daughters, the same way Uchuma has embraced you and treats you like the daughters she never had. You are fortunate to have had a father-in-law in him. Kama, Malibuye, your father is gone now. You have to step up to the plate. The traditions and customs zondlovu are in your hands. Imicimbi yondlovu namandungwana iza kuhanjelwa nini ngoku. Utata wenu unihlahlele wanibonisa indlela. Siswam, Chuma, sithi nxe, masimkhulule uNdlovu nokuba kubuhlungu, yintando kaThixo. Indima yakhe uyenzile, ulindele isithaba sakhe kuThixo wakhe. Ndiyayazi indlela obumthanda ngayo umyeni wakho. I believe ukuba Usbari has somewhat instructed me to quote the poem Instructions by Arnold Crompton at his funeral. It goes thus. When I've moved beyond you in the adventure of life, gather in some pleasant place, and there remember me with spoken words old and new. Let a tear, if you will, but let a smile come quickly, for I've loved the laughter of life. Do not linger too long with your solemnities. Go eat and talk, and when you can follow a woodland trail, climb a high mountain. Walk along the wild seashore, chew the thoughts of some book which challenges your soul. Use your hands some bright day to make a thing of beauty, or to lift someone's heavy load. Though you mention not my name, though no thought of me crosses your mind, I shall be with you. For these have been the realities of life for me. And when you face some crisis with anguish, when you walk alone with courage, when you choose your path of right, I shall be very close to you. I have followed the valleys. I have climbed the heights of life. Ndlovu, Sbar, siyambulela uThixo ngokusipha wena. Ubusisipho kuthi nakwabaninzi. Singxamle kakhulu kububele bakho, silubonile uthando lwakho. Kunzima ukwamkela kuba awusekho, kodwa ke siyamkele le meko, nangona kubuhlungu nje. Hamba Sibari, siyakukhulula. Ubuyinkwenkwezi, ukukhanya kwayo okudlula ezinye inkwenkwezi. Ubuyintyatyambo eqaqambileyo okudlula ezinye. Isitya esihle asidlele. Tsi, lento ikukufa ayiqheleki. Ndiyabulela.
Ndizawucela ubiza uba uNdlovu.
Ndibulisa umfundisi omama notata na umuntu okhoyo apha namhlanje. I've written a letter to Tata from myself, Uqhama, Ubongo, Usunazo, Unokuzola, Nonsapokazi, nomama une message apha. Dear Tata, the tragic news of your untimely passing has left us all numb and cold. We have all been consistently checking our phones, hoping and waiting for your daily calls. Sadly, the phone has not rung and will not ring. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. To the world, you are a friend, a brother, a colleague, a church member, a land surveyor, a father figure, and so many other titles. To us, however, you are our world. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We were all laughing yesterday at how life has a funny way of repeating itself. As you know, every Christmas you would remind us not once, not twice, not 3 times, but a number of times, depending on how festive the afternoon activities had been, that our great-grandfather passed away on Christmas Day when you were a young child, and all you remember is how Christmas just ended for everyone that day. Ironically, tomorrow is Christmas. Our Christmases will never be the same. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. As you can imagine, Q, B, and I are worried about Umama. Umama is worried about Q, B, and I. Q and I are worried about each other. Zo, Sinazo, and Tsapo are worried about us. And Umama and everyone else is worried about all of us. We are hurting and it's painful. Honestly, Tata, it's a mess. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. As you know, I'm never short of a word or two, and I'm always looking for the positive in every situation. Whew. Sadly, words fail me on this occasion. However, words have not failed Q, and that is the positive. And he just wanted me to let you know that, and I'm now reading what Q has said, so it's all over the place. I've lost my father hen. As a father, you have loved me abundantly and instilled in me the importance of always being present for those I love. As a husband, you have taught me that marriage is a roller coaster ride that is worth the thrill. As a son, you have shown me how to love, cherish, and nurture my mother. As a brother, you have taught me that the bond of blood is the strongest force in the world. As a friend, you have demonstrated how a good friend is present, loyal, and accepting in good times and bad times. Tata, you have never been a big talker. You have always been a big doer. You have done it all for us, all of the time. I thank God for giving you life. I know that you're looking over me. You're looking over me with him right now. I love and miss you, Father Hen. Every minute of every day, you will stay in my heart. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. Tata, we will miss your daily calls. We will miss you getting frustrated with us and saying pula pula when you thought we were not listening to your instructions. We will miss your beautiful and fun spirit. We will never forget how, on the occasion of your 70th birthday last year, you were initially very reluctant to have the celebration, as you didn't want to make a fuss. But as the day neared, you got extremely excited and had so much fun at the occasion. We draw comfort from the fact that we were able to tell you then how much we love you and appreciate you. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. I've asked both Zo and Ubaba just to share a few words, and this is what Zo had to say. When I think of you, Tata, the words of the German writer Jean Paul come to fore. I quote, The words that a father speaks to his children in the privacy of home are not heard by the world, but as in whispering galleries. They are clearly heard at the end and by posterity. Today we are left with these whispers. Ndoda, when you called your sons, or my girl to your daughters. Terms of endearment that solidly depict your love and your belief that the term tata was not a role or a mere responsibility, but just who you are. Siyabonga tata ngothando lakho, izenzo zakho, nemfundiso zakho. Upapa has asked that I share the following with you. Tata, your kindness, generosity, loving heart will forever be with me. I will miss our conversations and your wise counsel. I take comfort in all the beautiful memories we made together over the years. I'm especially grateful for our last Christmas together. Hey, and that Christmas was festive. That's my own part. Papa didn't say that. It was such a special time, and there were so many laughs. I am saddened that you'll never get to meet your beautiful granddaughter, Lunati Esonasipo Cossie. But take comfort in your knowing she was born. I miss you already. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. Umama has asked that I share the following words with you. Yes, though I walk through the deep sunless valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Engosi ngothando lakho. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. We are not okay, but we will be. Trust me, we will be. You will forever be in our hearts and forever present in our spirits. Though we may not physically see you again, we know that you are with us daily. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. You have kept the faith. Lala ngoxolo, lala ngoxolo Ndlovu.
Sibulele baNdlovu kakhulu. Ndizawucela bawutshawe before Nkosi yami ukuthethe ubulele wena. Ndicela ukuthetha abantu becawe then kuzoba nombulele wakho emveni kwabo. Ndizamcela umuntu wenkonzo singaculanga mawethu. Ixesha lethu apha noko seliphelile. Ndizawucela umuntu wecawe ebeceliwe ukuthi makathethe on behalf of the church uba ucwanini asondele. Ndizakupha 2 minutes biwomhle. Ndizakunika 2 minutes Nkosi yami. Because ixesha lethu noko seliphelile.
Get set, hear it, hear it, hear it, Jerusalem. Uzis tokhona na abafundisi abakhoyo, ifamily kaBaNdlovu, kunye namatshawe, inkonzo bihamba noBaNdlovu. Naye wonke umuntu bethuna noliva izwi lami lithi kuni molweni. Ndithunywa icawa mandizothetha ngoBaNdlovu. Ufikile uBaNdlovu kule cawa yaseNompumelelo. Wazingena iklasi njengesiqhelo samawisi. Uba xa ufika ecaweni funeka ungene ii-classes. Waphuma apho uBaNdlovu wazongena emanyanweni yamadodana. Ibiyindodana le ethunayo. Ibiyindodana uBaNdlovu phakathi kwalamadodana. Besithi xa sidibene singamadodana eyona nto sizamkhumbula ngayo. Siyabona mos amadodana aneza action zawo. Ufike action. Ebethe sawufika uBaNdlovu. Uba ulapha ecankwakho uBaNdlovu umjonge sokuphinde usifumane isitepu samadodana. Ebeliqhitala, kodwa iqhitala elifuna ukuyenza lento kunjanje akakukhathalelanga. Andani noba imilenze yakhe bimifutshane noba kodwa uyayenza lento ayenzayo, akanamsebenzi nawe. Ibingiloo tata ke bethunana. Xa ndigqitha ndisiya ndizawuthetha ke ngoku ngobugosa. Uba uNdlovu uye wenyukela, ebengumuntu okrelekrele kakhulu, kuyeka ubhuduka ezitepsini, kodwa ebechubekile apha engqondweni uba uNdlovu. Usuke ebukhokhelini uba uNdlovu, wenyuka uba uNdlovu waligosa. Uba uNdlovu ngosohlukana naye, simcela uba makabe ligosa lesekethe. Uthe kuthi uba uNdlovu sevumile, wabhala ileta wathi andizubakho mna ku-2021, ndiyahamba ndibheke eKapa ebantwaneni. Besingayazi uba olu hambo lukaba uNdlovu ebexela olu uhambo. Kuyacaca uba umntu uyaziva bethunana. Uba uNdlovu iposhini yakhe phaa ecaweni ebeleligosa kuthiwa ligosa le-finance. Ebethi xa egqiba kwenza iripoti ye-finance, ebesitsho uZize sithi ukhona umuntu ongayivayo le nto okanye le ripoti, bengabikho sandla siphakamayo, ngoba yonke into kaba uNdlovu ibiyile nto umntu ayaziyo okanye beyilindele. Xa ndizawugqiba ebengabikho ecaweni, imali yonke kishiyeka apha kum, ndizamfonela kazoyithatha uba uNdlovu. Siyibale ndithi hayi man uba uNdlovu, le imali isuka phi le, ngoba imali engabhalwanga le, mele uba sithenge noba yidrinki ngale. Athi hayi Sibewu, inendawo yayo nale, sizayithi igama le mali, inegama layo le mali. Hayi ndimncama uba uNdlovu aphele emkanayo yonke laa mali. Bethunana, silahlekele kakhulu. Uthe ufika kwayo wayiphucula icawe yaseNompumelelo, ebesebenza ubusuku nemini uba uNdlovu, efuna laa cawe ibekwe laa zinga likulo. Khangaphelela apha uba uNdlovu, u-313 isekethe yethu ibimazi lo tata, bimazi, sebenza nzima. Sifuna ukuthi ke siyile nkonzo yaseNompumelelo, enkosi ifemeli yakwaKhosi, Mamtshawe nabantwana, ngoba uba beningamsapoti uba uKhosi ngeyeke phakathi ecaweni, kodwa kude kwangumzuzu wokugqibela uba uKhosi sikhonza naye. Siyanibulela bethunana, siyanibulela. Kuthiwe ke ze ndithi Thawekazi, kuyasetyenzwa emadodaneni, ebesebenza uba uKhosi. Ithi yawulala indodana, amadodana abe ne-envelope ayishiyayo kwelo khaya. Khange sibe nayo ke loo chance Zizi. Kuthiwe ke ze ndigqithise le envelope kweli sapho loNdlovu. Enkosi kakhulu. Ndizawuthi kuwe Zizi, nguyeli uba uKhosi, siyamnikeza njengamagosa, sisithi kuwe Zizi, enza umsebenzi oqhele uwenza, akanachaphaza uba uNdlovu. Sithi ke yenza inkonzo yakho Zizi, siyamnikeza kuwe umngcwabe ngokusemthethweni. Enkosi. Ndizawucela umalubuyu okanye utata ekhaya azothatha ngelantika le envelope, ngoba sifuna uyikhupha endaweni engabonakaliyo le envelope, ukuze sibe nengqina
Sawucela ke uba utshawe isondele Nkosi yam.
Mandibulise ibandla elika Yesu Kristu igama, amen. Lo omi apha inkosi yamagwali kumhlaba sedikeni. Udadewethu lo wendele apha koNdlovu. Mna ndikula masiphalatha waserimo umhlaba. Ndiceliwe ke leli khaya loNdlovu nalamatshawe ngokwendiselana. Ngalo tata namhlanje esimkhaphayo ukuya kulinda kwelo khaya elindele lo mini yovuko. Okokuqala ndibulela umfundisi lo webandla walesekethe yaseNompumelelo athe akuva wakhawuleza uvela kwela khaya imeko ke imbi noko ngokungena ngaphakathi. Kwanomfundisi uTyingwa andimlibalanga naye ngokwenza umsebenzi omkhulu kangaka ukukhulula umphefumlo wale ngwevu yakwaNdlovu, uSibali umkhwe wam, ngubhuti ngutata beyinto yonke phaa kwela khaya lethu lasematshaweni ekwanjalo nakubantwana bakhe. Siyabulela mfundisi nomama nabo bonke abakhoyo, irhamente yakho yonke. Sithi ukwanda kwaliba ngumthakathi. Nakaloku njena sinethemba lokubana ngenxa yalo mbulalazwe osowugqibe ilizwe nakwenza njalo nakwamakhaya ethu. Mandibe ukwanda kwaliba ngumthakathi mfundisi, enkosi. Ndibulele wonke umuntu ngenqamleko enithathileyo ngokushiywa kwethu ile ngwevu yakwaKhosi Camagwini.
Sibulele kakhulu kutata. Ndizawucela sifumane ilizwe njengoba silifundile. Ndingashumayelanga nam kodwa ndithethe neli khaya likatata uKhosi phantsi kwalaa ncwadi kamprofethi Isaiah chapter 6. Ndibulele isithethi, ndibulele wonke umuntu othethileyo. There's one thing that I did not know about utata uKhosi, and I don't blame him for not telling me that, because one thing about him, ebengaqhayisi, he never boast. I'm shocked when usisi xa efunda apha neobhuthwari umama efunda ukuthi he was the first black quantity surveyor. I did not know that. Ngihleli naye ixesha elininzi, but to my surprise he never told me that. Dudwini mama uKhosi nabantwana, indeed we have lost a leader, we have lost a father. Ukufika kwamna apha 313, the first steward andiphazami loo nto andithatha phaa eAmalinda KFC kunethi imvula. The first person to pick me up ngutata uKhosi. Ndafika ecaweni laseNompumelelo, introduced me to the stewards of the society. We worked for 2 years together. Eyenzeka ngamanye amaxesha xa umfundisi etshintshe esosayithini abantu bakulibale, but mna naye we continue to have a relationship even when I was at Amalinda Society. And I saw it fit that Isaiah chapter 6 verse 1 eyona endibone fit for utata uKhosi. Our last chat, he called me angekho right. I was shocked that he called me. Ndikubothetha nomamtshawe, umamtshawe agqiba uthi kume mfundisi, he's not well at all, usesibhedlele. And he called me and he said, ebusuku mfundisi wam Ngalamini ndingcwaba udadobawo wami, if I remember correctly, eMqoboli. The late Bishop Umatyumza, which book did he open? That he opened the letter to the Philippians, chapter 1, verse 21. Angaphefumli kahle ndimvuta tukhosi. Wathi mfundisi, can you read it for me in English? Nam ndifuna ukusifundela, but I was shocked. Why is he worried about reading the Bible while he's not well? Wathi mthumelele WhatsApp ngathi ayitata mandikunike ngoku ndiyifumene. And it was first Philippians chapter 1. Philippians chapter 1 verse 21. Echona, for me to live is Christ and to die is gain. Ngamazwi okugqibela, we last spoke together, not knowing that 2 days from then, utata Cossie, xa ndifonela ubhuti Khama ndixelela ukuba akasekho. But ndiyacela mama uKhosi, out of all things that I've spoken, Mama, ndiyacela Mama Chawe, please go read Isaiah chapter 6 verse 1 again. This is how we share Notatu Cossie. We would always share scripture together. Uthi lo mprofeti, in the year that King Hosea died, I saw the Lord seated high on his throne. The trail of his robes filled the temple. But one thing that moves me here, that Isaiah emphasized on, is that ngokufa kukakumkani uZiya wabona inkosi. And I pray to you that as utata uKhosi have left us singalindelanga uba ngashiya, in this time of confusion, in this time of loneliness, in this time uyokubuza uba ebephi uThixo ngela xesha utata uKhosi eshiya kweli hlabathi. But this prophet for me has an answer. He said, I saw the Lord, and this Lord whom Isaiah saw is the one who is the comforter. Ngulo ongumthuthuzeli, ngulo sondeleyo kwabo banhliziyo zaphukileyo. In my 2 years journey notata uKhosi as a steward, as a minister in Nompumelelo, there were times of frustration when he said to me, Mfundisi, I think of leaving this because this is not what I believe the Christian faith is. But one thing that I'm sure that kept him on the track is that ikhona into owayibonayo. Not all Christians can see something. What keeps us moving, even in the ministry, is the person that we have seen. And the person that utata uKhosi ambonileyo, and the one that I pray that you see today, is that you see the Lord, the one who is the Alpha, the one who is the Omega, lo sisiqalo nesiphelo sobomi bethu. The God whom utata uKhosi saw, because Isaiah, he goes on to say, I did not only see the Lord, I saw him ehleli esitulweni sakhe sobukhosi. And this means in a time of COVID-19, when the world continues to ask, kutheni uThixo ethulile, there are people who are saying, let us not lose hope in this time of hopelessness, because the Lord whom we serve is sitting in his throne of power. uThixo usalawula nakweli xesha. It may be that it is a time of confusion, a time of asking uThixo, but Isaiah gives us the details. Uthi ndimbone ehleli angaphakamanga, but God was seated on his throne. Angashukumisanga nasesi sifo se-COVID-19. Because when God is seated, it assures us that uThixo wethu akaguquki. And God is close even to this day to those whose hearts are broken. Ndiyamthandaza uThixo uxolo, uThixo uthando, aligcine le family, aniphe amandla as you go forward, that you see the Lord, niyibone inkosi. When King Hosea died, this nation kaSisrael lost hope. This was a king who was victorious. Inkosi ibilwa amadabi iwaphumelele. But when they entered the temple that day and they saw the empty seat, leyo kumkani behlala kuyo engekho kuyo, that is when they lost hope. That is when they thought that uThixo akekho. But Isaiah comes with an answer. Hosea may not be seen in this seat, but there is a God who will sit on behalf of King Hosea. But there is a God who will stand on behalf of Utatu Cossie and who will say, Mama Cossie, I will lead you to greener pastures. A friend of mine who was a researcher in Rwanda tells me a story just to close. He says to me, in Rwanda, the economy of Rwanda, most of it depends on banana. That's what he told me. And he says, njengoba it depends on banana. Banana, it is their bread and butter. He shares in this story, he says, it happened one day as they were looking for a B&B, they did not get it. And when they did not get that B&B, they were accommodated in one of the villages. So, uthi lo mhlobo wami, when we entered the village, zonke izindlu zalalali, zonke zinomthi webanana. Because for them to have a banana will put food on the table. So that guy says, when we entered this village, just in Rwanda, when we saw these beautiful banana trees, and one of the ladies said to us, listen then guys, in the morning you will eat banana, in the afternoon you will eat banana, even in the evening you may eat banana, because this is the only thing that we have. For 2 months they stayed there in Rwanda, but researcher by Rwanda. And when they were researching in Rwanda, it happened one night as they were sleeping. They went out as the researchers to listen what was happening outside. And this small boy spoke in French because in Rwanda, the common language is French. And as they spoke in French, belila. Uthi lo mfana lo xa echaza, wabuza kulo sisi lo obaccommodateleyo, what is your son saying? What is your sisi? My son is saying to me, Mommy, the bananas have been taken. What is it that we will eat tomorrow and even in the evening? Uthi lo sisi, lo mfana, he answered in English kumfana wakhe. What, my son, you are right. The bananas are gone. But let us thank God that we still have the tree. Because that course may be gone. But we thank God who gave us Utatu Cossie. Because the God who gave us Utatu Cossie, and I pray, Mamutawe, that you hold on to the tree of our salvation, that is Jesus Christ. Even when the bananas may be gone, but there is a hope that we still have the tree. And this tree may not produce the same bananas as it has produced before, but we thank God that the tree is going to produce something that will sustain us up endleleni. uThixo khona makasikelele ukufunda kwelizwi lakhe ngokubhengi naphakade. Amen. Ela sivalena amehlo sithandaze. Sibulela wena Nkosi yethu ngobomi bukaTata uCossie. Sicela njengoThixo umamkele ekhaya ezulwini lakho. Xolele futhi Nkosi zonke izono zakhe. Ube nomama uCossie nabantwana bakhe. Uthweza amaphiko akho bafihle Thixo wethu. Kuzawufika imini zokumkhumbula kumkani kakumkani. But we ask you, just like that banana tree, you remain with them. Ubaphe ukholo, ubaphe ithemba Thixo lingapheliyo. bazi uba nguwonikayo, nguwonamandla Nkosi yethu ukubizela abantu kuwe. In all that igama lakho siyalicela lidunyiswe. Gcina wonke umuntu olapha Nkosi yethu umsikelele, ubakhusele Nkosi bonke endleleni zelizwe lakho kwethu. As we are about to celebrate the birth of your Son Jesus Christ, we ask, O Lord, that you keep us together as families. Sipha amandla Nkosi yethu to remember those who have fallen kulo nyaka ka-2020. Sizicela zonke izinto egameni loyise nelonyana nelakho umoya oyingcwele kude kube ngunaphakade. Amen. Zawucela umfundisi umdingi asamkele lufefe and then sigodukeni.
Ndicela ke basamkele ubabalo lenkosi yethu Yesu Kristu, uthando lukaThixo ngubawo, nodlelwano lomoya oyingcwele maluhlale nomama uKhosi, abantwana bakhe, abazukulwana bakhe nekhaya lakhe lonke, luhlale kunye nathi sonke ngabanye ngoku lungapheli kude kube ngunaphakade. Amen.
Ndiyacela abazali bami family, we are not going back katata uKhosi. There are tokens apha ngaphandle. We will take and we will leave. Sibulela.